We'll go back to where we were, and I call Douglas Ross.
Thank you, Presiding Officer, and you will have our full support with that, and I'm pleased to say I managed to hold my tongue this time with that interruption. But as I was saying, less than 48 hours ago, Humza Yousaf stood in this chamber and promised to be the First Minister for all of Scotland. And yesterday he had an opportunity to prove that with the new ministerial team he appointed. But he failed in his first big test. This is the largest government since devolution, with more ministers than ever before. But key ministerial posts relating to social security and tourism were abolished. Yet a new Minister for Independence was created. Does the First Minister really believe that appointing a taxpayer-funded nationalist campaigner is governing for all of Scotland?
First Minister.
Can I say, Presiding Officer, how delighted I am to have appointed the Cabinet that has the most number of women in it in the history of devolution? Can I say that I'm delighted to be able to appoint a Cabinet that had a number of members under the age of 40? Can I say how delighted I am to have appointed a Cabinet and a government that is focused on the priorities of the Scottish people? We have a Cabinet Secretary for the well-being economy that puts the economy first, that makes sure that the economy works for the people, not the other way round. We have a Cabinet Secretary for Net Zero and Just Transition who are to unlock our green potential on the day, of course, that the UK Government have once again relegated the Acorn project to Track 2. We have a Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice to tackle child poverty, to help us to tackle the effects
First Minister,
of Westminster austerity.
First Minister, as ever, only the member who has been called to speak should be speaking, and I would ask members to treat one another with courtesy.
Yes, I make no apology whatsoever for having a Minister for Independence, because, my goodness, we need independence now more than ever before. We need it now. We need it now more than ever before. Because in energy-rich Scotland, we have Scots that are fuel poor because of the UK Government's policies. We need independence now more than ever before, because we have more food banks in this country at any other time than ever before, because of over a decade of austerity. So I would say to Douglas Ross, to the UK Government, we will continue to advocate and to advance independence, because we need it now more than ever before.
Douglas Ross.
I found myself in the bizarre place that I was actually hoping there might be another intervention from the gallery just to stop that long rant from Humza Yousaf that didn't address the question at all, because I specifically asked... Here they go.
We will suspend. Thank you. We will resume. Douglas Ross.
Be careful what you wish for, Presiding Officer, I suppose. But I was just lamenting on the point that clearly Humza Yousaf had a script prepared there. He read it ad nauseum. And I'll try and continue if you want to try and continue, Presiding Officer, because Humza Yousaf read out a script specifically about an independence minister within his government.
I think I will have to suspend Mr Ross, unfortunately. We will suspend business. Okay. We will resume. Thank you for endeavouring to continue. Mr Ross.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I was saying Humza Yousaf's answer totally ignored the point of key ministerial posts that he abolished. The Social Security Department had an individual minister with a Cabinet Secretary and a Minister for Social Security. Ben McPherson was an extremely efficient and credible minister, and that position has been abolished by Humza Yousaf, but he has been able to create a dedicated Minister for Independence. So it's the same old from the SNP, another nationalist leader when Scotland needs a national leader. He is picking up exactly where Nicola Sturgeon left off. Just look at his first week in office. On Monday, within minutes of becoming leader of his party, he said he would push right away for the powers to hold another referendum. On Tuesday, in a call with the Prime Minister, he demanded another independence vote, and on Wednesday, he appointed a Minister for Independence. Instead of looking for areas of cooperation between Scotland's two governments, he's looking for a fight. Does the First Minister seriously believe that that's a priority for the people of Scotland?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, first and foremost, it's been just over 24 hours since I was sworn in at the Court of Session. My first act, just about 24 hours after being sworn in, is to not just double the Fuel Insecurity Fund, as we promised to do, to £10 million, from £10 million to £20 million. My first act is to triple the Fuel Insecurity Fund because, of course, fuel poverty in this country is a disgrace. And it's a disgrace that has been imposed upon us by Conservative UK governments. That is speaking to the priorities of the Scottish people. And, of course, social security is the responsibility of the Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice. In terms of tourism, of course, we have a business minister, small business minister, trade and innovation, who will take that responsibility forward. I know this is new territory for Douglas Ross, but actually it's really a good thing for a party leader to make sure that they make good on the promises during an election campaign. It's of no surprise to anybody that as First Minister of Scotland, of course, I will advance the cause of independence. I will do that because I do not accept the fact that we have children in poverty here in Scotland because of a decade of austerity. I do that because I do not accept that a country as energy rich as ours should be fuel poor because of the UK government. I do that because I do not accept that people must suffer under sky-high energy bills. So yes, I'll continue to make the case for independence because, as I say, people need independence to unleash and unlock the potential of this country. We can do so much more with the powers of an independent nation.
Douglas Ross.
The First Minister has to realise that independence is not a priority for people across Scotland right now. But getting our economy going certainly is. So let's hear what some of Humza Yousaf's own colleagues have to say about his chances of reviving Scotland's sluggish economy. SNP MSP Ivan McKee said this government needs to reset its relationship with business. An SNP source described one of the minister's acts as one of the few non-idiots that was available. Former SNP Minister Alex Neil said, and this is a quote, "It seems the best economic brains in the government have been sidelined." And another party quote made an equally scathing assessment of the First Minister's reshuffle. These are their words. "Huge challenges are coming in public finances. Is this really the team that can tackle that? There is a concerning lack of numeracy skills within this group." Presiding Officer, if members of Humza Yousaf's own party have no confidence in his ability to manage the economy, how can the country?
First Minister.
My goodness, how desperate is Douglas Ross? Do you know whose opinion I really care about? You know whose opinion I really care about? It's the people of Scotland who have given their verdict time and time again. And they have put their trust in the SNP election after election after election. They've done that because we deliver for the economy. They have done that because we deliver for the priorities of the people of Scotland. We have an incredible cabinet with talent right across finance, right across economy, social justice and well-being. And whether it's on the front benches or whether it's on my back benches, I am proud to have a team full of talent, and I look across the Conservative benches, they wouldn't even make it on my subs bench, presiding officer. And let me say this much.
Briefly, please.
I see that the First Minister may well have changed, but Douglas Ross goes on the same old broken record of personal attacks and insult after insult. And how good has it done him? How much good has it done him? The latest poll, of course, that has come out shows that Douglas Ross has managed to lead his party, if that is the word, into third place. Wow. A third-rate politician leading a third-rate party, presiding officer.
Douglas Ross.
I really hope the First Minister gets better than this, and he doesn't just have to take it from me. I know he can't see the faces behind him, but we can. We can see the reaction of his backbenchers to his contribution here.
We will suspend. Douglas Ross.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer.
We will suspend. We are going to have to clear. I am very, very sorry, but we require to clear the gallery at this point.
And I respect everything you have tried to do, Presiding Officer, but this shower have been doing this week after week after week, and the image of genuine constituents being forced out of our Parliament is one we will all regret and one none of us want to see repeated. I am very grateful that young people have been able to stay, but we must do something to stop this going forward. And if I remember correctly, because it was some time ago, the First Minister was trying to criticise me for my questions and some of the things I was saying in question 3. They were all direct quotes from his own party members, even some of his own MSPs. They were criticising his ability to turn around the economy. Humza Yousaf is leading a divided party that has got no confidence in his government's ability. And it's no wonder why. He's stuffed his cabinet full of his predecessors' lackeys, ministers with almost poor a track record in government as he has. More ministers than ever before, yet he managed to appoint just one that didn't support him in the leadership election. He squeaked a win and then forced the former Finance Secretary, Kate Forbes, and her supporters out of government in an act of petty vengeance. And now, to shore up his position within his feuding party, he's back-pushing independence because it's the only thing that unites the SNP. Humza Yousaf is more divisive than even Nicola Sturgeon was. He's already split his party down the middle, and now he wants to do the same with the country. In these difficult times, Scotland needs a government focused on the real priorities of people across Scotland and the big challenges we face. Yet instead, we have one that is at war with itself and focused on engineering further division. If Humza Yousaf cannot even unite his own party, how can he possibly unite the country?
First Minister.
I say, first of all, foremost, Presiding Officer, I do agree with the action you've taken. I'm delighted the young people were allowed to stay, and can I commend the young people for behaving much better than some of the adults that were in the public gallery. Can I say on Douglas Ross's criticism of the economic literacy of this government, of this SNP-led government, let me remind them, of course, that under the SNP, under Nicola Sturgeon, under John Swinney, and I'm pleased to be building on this legacy, that Scottish GDP grew more than UK GDP. Can I also, of course, make the point that if we had listened to Douglas Ross, who demanded that we copy Liz Truss's tax cuts for the wealthiest, we would have had over £500 million less to spend to invest in public services. Thank God we did not listen to them. I am building upon a legacy where we have higher unemployment, lower unemployment, low economic inactivity. And as for division, they are a party, the Conservatives, that tore themselves apart over Brexit. The Tory party has had more leaders in as many months than Douglas Ross has jobs, presiding officer. This division coming from a man who said that if he was Prime Minister for one day, the only thing he would do would be to hammer the rights of one of the most marginalised communities in the country. So I'll take no lessons on division from Douglas Ross. I am delighted to have appointed a cabinet and a ministerial team that will build upon the legacy that Nicola Sturgeon and John Swinney have left us. It makes us the most popular party in Scotland. It makes us the national party of Scotland. We will work every single day to earn and re-earn that trust. But it is because we focus on the priorities of the people of Scotland that we are going to continue, I am certain, to be the most popular party in this country.